Thursday, May 5th, 2022. So it's about 2 days after the airstrike that you probably all heard about in the news. So we felt it. There was a very quick power cut, two of them, just for seconds at a time, where the lights went on and off, and it was maybe a matter of seconds, And before that, we heard a explosion, but it sounded like a thunderstorm. It wasn't like a bang or anything like that. It was more like the way the clouds rumble before a storm. They said it was 5 missiles, but I just heard one rumble from where I was at, but it was pretty far away from where we live. But it came from the direction going towards Poland, which was kind of unusual. But later in the news, they said it was a power station, and electricity and water in part of Lviv was affected. But what was amazing is they got it back online relatively fast, within hours. We've had before the war power cuts and water cuts, even where we live in a new place, and it took many hours. So 3 people were injured. Luckily no one died, but they have a way now to get things going if we have the strikes here. It's quite resilient, so I'm very thankful about that. I mean, just a little bit of sarcasm, it seems like almost like the missile strikes might have fixed something as quick as the power came back on, because usually it came back on quicker after a missile strike than just a usual outage, the way a lot of people felt, when we have these cuts. That's just a little bit of sarcasm. And here is a park. We're going to walk through the woods to get home. So we were just in a market, open air market, cash only. That's where the best food is now. So yeah, it's like all kinds of dogs barking and everything else. So you can see all around here. This is Ukraine. It's eclectic, as people would say. Everything is a little different. So you have a new building here among all these old buildings, and then you have a house just over the fence here. And it's what makes it fun here. Europe is great, but sometimes it's just too organized. It just keeps your head busy, to deal with all these different things, to process all these different things. The roads, the way to walk is is definitely different. It's definitely life in Ukraine. So yeah, there's a lot of grannies walking in the woods here, so yeah, this is how it is. This is how we do it here. But yeah, I guess the other subject I want to talk, I was on I always troll the Ron Paul groups, and he keeps saying America should be neutral. America should mind its own business, and Ukraine has no material effect. That has really got me thinking, these libertarians are set up and funded by the Russians. They have this whole directive, probably the Chinese too, to decentralize and break up America. Our strength is our unity. America used to be a bunch of separate states. Actually, there was a constitution before the one we have now called the Articles of the Confederation. And the federal government was weak and had to take voluntary donations from the states, because people were so mad about a strong central government, known as England. Known as England and everything. 1 minute. So yeah, we're walking, following the tracks, So we're walking along some abandoned railroad tracks. It's more of this eclectic Ukrainian way, and this is just behind new apartment buildings and stuff. So it's all all bombed out and, you know, all abandoned old stuff right up against the new. So like there's this house. But yeah, back to this thing about libertarians. So yeah, their whole premise is that America is like this decentralized, every state decides for themselves and America stays out of world affairs. But okay, if that was true, we did that in Germany with Hitler in World War II. They would have won all of Europe and probably all of Russia. And then they would have built those big Horton bombers that were like the predecessor to the modern B-2. And they would have pretty much, and they would have gotten nuclear weapons probably before us because we wouldn't have gotten the scientists. And they would have flattened New York and Washington, and, you know, we would all be, living in German, Nazi Germany, you know, right now. All over the world would be one form or another of Nazi Germany or their allies, or, you know, whatever you call them. You know, they're people who comply with them. So American foreign policy, a good defense is a strong offense. America has to not only be first, but it has to be foremost, front and center, and ahead of the game. And yeah, they've done a lot of mistakes with dictators and stuff, but, you know, it's better America's doing these mistakes than like Russia and China, because we can at least correct them and admit to them, and journalists can talk about it without going to Siberia. So those of you who are libertarians, and, you know, these people who think America doesn't have any business in the world, you're crazy. You should come over here sometime, you know. And believe me, I'm like pro-gun, and I have my anti-government sentiment and don't think they should be fully trusted. There has to be some counterbalances to government as well, you know, like but definitely you want the American government to be stronger than any corporation, any unelected government, any mafia, any dictatorship, you know. And, you know, I never thought I'd say this, but I think Joe Biden is doing a good job. You know, I voted for Trump twice. I mean, I did vote for Obama once. I've been kind of mix of a Democrat and Republican voter. You know, I voted for Bill Clinton 2 times, Mike Dukakis, George Bush 1 time. So I've been split. Voted Libertarian 1 time. That was a mistake. Probably should have just voted for Obama. He won anyway. But yeah, we need the CIA. We need the U.S. government to keep doing what they're doing and do it more, so we don't get in situations like this where Russia develops all this power, any other country that's belligerent develops all this power. American belligerence is better than Russian belligerence, you know, if you just want to put things in perspective. So yeah, I'll probably make a video. I have a video of like how I stand on all the political issues I've been meaning to do. So I will do that. You know, so a lot of people are taking the off-beaten path, you know, taking the high road home. I found all kinds of shortcuts, you know, since I lived here, going through woods and going through little places, little forests and everything. It's really cool. So anyway, you all take care and see you next time.